There's always a question of life and death and fate and destiny. And there's a lot of beliefs in different religions and by different people as to what afterlife is, or reincarnation, or what if somebody goes to heaven or hell, or if they repeat lives, and that we go with uh, reincarnation. And spiritualists believe that people go into spirit and that the people in spirit influence our lives. And then you have people that are mediums, and they say they communicate with spirits. And there's a lot of different beliefs. It reminds me of the story of the Bridge of San Luis, which happened in Peru. And the question was that they had this like um, bridge that crossed a large ravine or mountain. And people took this bridge for, let's say, hundreds of years. And one day the bridge broke. And they tried to do a study with the Catholic Church as to why were those people on that bridge at that time. And the conclusion, like some people were murderers and some people led exemplary lives, and some people were like prostitutes or thieves, and some people were very good and they were charitable and kind, and they wanted to find out why these people at this time died on this bridge that all of a sudden broke, that was there for years and years. And it's the story of the San Luis Rey. And the conclusion they came up with, when somebody led an exemplary life and they were kind and generous and helpful to people, they said that God wanted them in heaven. And when they didn't live such a good life, they said, well, they were called to hell, or the place of the damned. So there's a lot of different beliefs as to people's length of life. Some people pass very young when they're almost born, and some people they pass as that when they're a child, and some people when they're very old, and all different ages. I always pictured it as somebody being at a train station, and the train station is the world, and they get on the train and their time's up, because I believe everybody's born with an expiration date. One person is to have 20 years and another person 90. I worked at a medical daycare center where I picked people up in a bus with wheelchairs and various physical conditions. And I spoke to this older black gentleman, and he wouldn't sit by anybody too old. He said, I won't sit there, I'll sit here. He always sat with young people. And I said, why? He said, well, when somebody's like 95, 98 years old, that they steal years from other people. They might get 2 years from this person and 5 years from that person. He felt that they were like a vampire. But that it shows you how different beliefs are. And the people that drove the planes into the Twin Towers, they had a movie on it. And it showed you one of them thinking and saying that his life didn't mean very much, because they were Muslims and they believed in reincarnation, that this life is only like a drop of water in the ocean, was what they said. So it's interesting how people have different beliefs and about life and longevity, and where you go. And spiritualists believe in the afterlife, and so does like East Indians and people in Asia and different ethnic countries. And it's interesting the difference in opinions. Some believe that you reincarnate, and this is like a school where you keep learning and growing, and you do it over and over until you get it perfect, and then you don't have to reincarnate. the old Vikings believed that if you lived an exemplary life, you went to Valhalla, the place of the gods. So the question is, who's right and who's wrong? There's the mystery of life and the illusion that people who are alive have to live with, that they feel they're going to go on forever. And yet people have different expiration dates. And when you live life, you see that somebody goes at 30 and somebody at 50 and somebody at 70. And they get on the train and the train goes away and that's the end. And nobody's promised anything. And yet, my original studies of life and metaphysics started with Count Lewis Harmon, and his name was Cairo, Chiro. And I remember as a child, I went to this half-price bookstore, and I would read all his books. He fascinated me, and he was a master with numbers and palmistry and so forth and so on. And he dealt with phatic numbers, and was known for telling people how long they were going to live accurately. He had the system down perfectly with Vedic numbers. And the story is that the king of Italy asked him how long his life was, because he was known to tell people, your life ends at 72, your life it ends at 92, your life ends at 89. And people found him to be very accurate. So the king of Italy smiled at him and said, "How long do you see my life?" And he said 3 months. And the king of Italy, they said, he turned pale in his face. But the point is, we have to do the best we can with the life we have. And we don't, never know when the train is going to come for us, and that's it. And we all come with an expiration date. And it's interesting the difference in beliefs. Like the Catholic or religious or Christian belief is heaven and hell, and the Oriental and East Indians believe in karma and reincarnation, and the Muslims tend to go that way too. And but the point is, you have the mysteries of life and death and fate and destiny, and we all should do the best we can, I believe, and be the best person we can be.